All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm say call like my Howard. They say Texas to you elect members of the household of faith. So the so-called white man, the devil, will not get away or be acquitted with all his dastardly atrocities, man. Right? Because this devil is indeed dastardly. He is indeed atrocious. You know, see, I was watching this documentary film. Al Jazeera does good informative programs. Al Jazeera, um, funded by the Qataris or whatever. But the thing is, they bring out good history on these devils over here in America. So they did all the wars, right? So you know, America has been at war for about 90+% of its existence, 95% of its existence, and most of those wars they end up losing. You see, so you so-called white people, you devils are you're always at war, but you're not very good at it. You know, you're not very good at it. All right, wars that America lost. Let's look at ChatGPT. Wars that America lost. Um, Lost or withdrew. If you withdraw, you lost. You got to bow out. So America has lost, and Vietnam comes to mind. Recently they had to pull out of Afghanistan. When you're the greatest military and you spend over 800 billion, which is more than all the countries combined, it begs the question: why are you always losing? You see what I'm saying? That's what begs the question. Why are these devils? They've been blessed with the sword. All right. Why are they always losing? Because that show you how incompetent you devils are. The earth is in your hands. You got all the power, and you losing all of these wars against nations that really have a fraction of your budget. They have a fraction of your military might. Like the Vietnamese, for instance, that was a 20-year war, damn near 20-year war, man. Really, you know, it says 1955, 1975. But that's what it says on ChatGPT. But the outcome was the U.S. withdrawal of a North Vietnamese victory. The U.S. pulled out in 1973. Saigon fell to North Vietnam in 1975. Despite massive U.S. military efforts, the goal of preventing a communist takeover of South Vietnam failed. All right, Korean War, stalemate, armistice, no formal peace treaty. All right, Korean War, Lebanon intervention. U.S. withdrew after deadly bombing. After the 1983 Beirut barracks bombings killed 241 American service members, the U.S. withdrew its peacekeeping forces without achieving the peace in region. Yeah, you went into Lebanon, you failed. Somalia, withdrawn after Somalia, withdrawn after the Black Hawk Down. You ever seen that movie Black Hawk Down? That's a good flick. Who's in it? I think Heath Ledger was in it. Yeah, Black Hawk Down. That was about what went down in 1993 with the Somalians. Said, look at me, I ain't the captain now. Yeah. Well, that's Captain Phillips, but hey, shalom, y'all. Blessing, should break that to your brothers, man. Enos, brother, Nathan. Hey, shalom, you brothers. Oh, no, it was Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor was in, and Josh Hartnett. Yeah, yeah. Damn, hitting cats. Eric Bana and Tom Hardy, the young Tom Hardy, Orlando Bloom. Everybody was in that. But anyways, man, that was a good flick, man. Black Hawk Down. So, um, Afghanistan war, right? 20-year war. Taliban regained control after U.S. withdrawal. So ultimately, man, you devils fail at everything you put your hands to, man. You know, the U.S. invaded, dismantled Al Qaeda, and removed the Taliban. After 20 years, the U.S. withdrew, and the Taliban quickly retook control in 2021. Iraq War, 2003 to 2011. The re-engagement, 2014 to the present, overthrowing of Saddam Hussein, but long-term stability not achieved. Though initially a military victory, post-invasion insurgency and civil conflict followed. ISIS rose after the U.S. withdrawal from promoting re-engagement. The situation remains unstable. Yeah, unstable because you devils go in the region and you don't bring no stability. All right, you don't bring stability to the region. You so-called white people, man. You bring instability and drugs, and so the wars that you Americans have fought, you haven't won all the wars, man. Showing you that your success rate is very low. The success rate you crackers, man, is very low. You're a bunch of retards, anyways, man. You know. All right, you can't your own blessing the sword. You're not even good at wielding the sword like that. That's why you're gonna destroy yourself, pursuing Isaiah 54:16. They tell you that the smith that blows the coals in the fire, that links right up with Psalms, the 7th chapter, the 15th verse. The heathen have sunk down the pit which they digged, because that smith they blow the coals in the fire, they're gonna use it to destroy themselves. The dumbasses they are. If they were smart, they'll work together in the one world system, in the new world order to come up against you tribes. But they're dumb that they'll fight against themselves and just to gain control of the new world order. The whole see everything is all about control, and the scriptures tell you that Satan is against Satan. You know, how shall his kingdom stand? And so if they were smart, they would seek peace. A wise man seek peace, but they're all about war. So they cover themselves with this violence. You know. So it says Psalms 58 and one. Do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, you sons of men? Yet in heart you work wickedness. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go as astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. The poison is like the poison of a serpent. That's that old serpent, man. The devil, that old serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stopped her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers so never so wisely. Break their teeth, O Most High, in their mouth. Break out their great teeth out the young lions. Yeah, the Lord's breaking their teeth. You know, the Lord's breaking this military industrial complex. This devil got. The Lord's breaking Raytheon and um, Lockheed Martin. The Lord's breaking Northrop Grumman. You know, the Lord's breaking Boeing. Okay. So the Lord's breaking down the F-35. The Lord made it to where the F-35 has been the most expensive failure in American history. The F-35 is a failure. The F-35, how long has it been in production, man? And it's still not even ready. But they hype it up like it's some type of they overhype it like they overhype the Champions League, UCL, or the Madridista. They overhype everything, you know. So the F-35, how long has it been in production? They sell you a narrative, man. You know, like America is unbeatable. You know, Los Blancos are unbeatable. That's the lie. All right. F-35 Lightning II has been in production for over 17 years. 17 years, man. Hey, the F-35 Lightning II has been in production for over 17 years, with development stretching back even further. 1996, the Joint Strike Fighter program begins. Lockheed Martin with the JSF contract, the F-35 officially selected. Even till this day, they're not even done building the F-35, man. Full rate production was planned, just like the Bernabeu is not done. Full rate production was planned, but as of 2025, it's still in limited production with ongoing upgrades, especially the Block 4 modernization. Yeah. So the F-35 is a costly is how much has the F-35 program cost these devils, man? You know, this you devils have nothing but failed at your with your own blessings. The F-35 program is the most expensive weapons program in the history of mankind, with a project lifetime cost exceeding 1.7 trillion US dollars. Whether it's a failure depends on how you define success. That's a failure. That's a failure, man. You spend trillions of dollars on something that hasn't come to light in 20 years. The Chinese were already did it. See, in the 90s, the Chinese didn't have no money like that. So, but now they got the bread. They would already been did that. They are far superior to you devils when it comes to manufacturing. Manufacturing. You devils don't are not the leaders of manufacturing anymore. So it says development procurement 450 billion, lifetime operation maintenance 1.3 trillion, unit cost per jet 100 million per F-35. So let one go bust $100 million right there. They're talking about the B-2 bomber that dropped the 30,000-pound bombs on those sites, nuclear sites. Well, that's old. That's the old bomber, man, from the 90s. You know, so they got a new one in production, which is I think it's B-21. This is the B-2. But going back to the point, you know, you devils are not good at anything, man. You're not even good at wielding the sword, man. So you will not get away with your atrocities, man. Revelation 6:1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts said, "Come and see." And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. He went forth conquering and to conquer. It says, and when he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And they went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, a great sword. That's what was given to you devils. And he opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, "Come." And I beheld a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of scales, of balances in the hands, like it. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and a 3 measures of barley for a penny. See that thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And he opened the fourth seal. I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with the anger, or with the hunger, so like it, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So the fourth part of the earth, right? Well, it's really this devil has power over all the earth, but but it's just written that way, right? Because these devils control basically all the earth through their policies. They've made the earth drunken. But now, okay, it says that you devils have given a great sword, right? And with that sword, you've gone and waging wars, all in the name of the American interest, the global hegemony of so-called white man. But see, It's really all come and backfired on you, man. It says Ecclesiastes 3:15. It says, it says, it says that which have been is now, and that which is to have already been, and the Most High requires that which is past. So the Lord requires that which is past. He requires all these shitty wars, you know, for greed, you know, and conquest, you know, all in the name of prophets. You know, these devils have did all this in the name um of corporate interests, man. In the name of expanding their horizons, they have displaced families, dropped bombs on innocents, raped, robbed, and murdered. The thief coming not, John 10:10, but to kill and destroy. I come that they might have life, they might have it more abundantly. So you devils represent that red pale horse that we read Revelation the 6th chapter. And you're not very good at being the red pale horse. You're the devil. You lose all the wars that you're in. You lose all the wars. So how much more the war with the Most High and His Son? These devils, they lose all the wars they're in, man. The only one that war they won was like World War II, but they had to resort to inhumane tactics, which is the missiles. They had to resort to vaporizing Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you know, in order for them to win that war, man. Because if not, the Japanese would have been in there fighting. To this day, they would have been that bitch fighting them devils. You know, they would have been 70 years later, 80 years later, they would have been fighting still, you know. But that's the equalizer. Now these nations got missiles. So now shit is getting real. And you devils are being seen as the as the bully of the earth, you know. You got this devil Donald Trump that cursing. Talking about they don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know. Looking unpresidential, you know, by the day. He look less of a president every day. So you devils are losing, man. You devils are losing. Psalm 72 and and the first verse, give the king thy judgments, O Most High, thy righteousness unto the king's son. He shall judge thy people with righteousness and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people and the little hills by righteousness. That's right. The mountains will bring peace to the people. That's the government of Israel. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy and shall break in pieces the oppressor. Break in pieces the so-called white man. All right, which is happening before our eyes. You losing all these wars, man. The only war you win in Call of Duty. That's the only war you win in the stock market and lying and stealing. But actual physical wars, you ever since World War II, you've been losing. You know, you've been losing. So it said, he shall judge the poor of the people, and he shall save the children of the needy. He shall break in pieces the oppressor. They shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure throughout all generations. He shall come down like rain upon the mountain grass, as showers that water the earth. In his days shall the righteous flourish, and the abundance of peace so long as the moon endureth. He shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow down before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. The kings of Tarshish and the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Yeah, all kings shall bow down before him. All nations shall serve him. All nations shall serve him, for he shall deliver the needy when he crieth. The poor also shall, and him that have no helper, he shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of needy. He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall his blood be, their blood be in his sight. That's right. So we're gonna be redeemed from the violence of you so-called white people, because you're the problem of the earth, like I said earlier or yesterday. He shall live, and to him shall be given of the gold of Sheba, and prayer also should be made for him continually, and daily shall be praised. There shall be a handful of corn in the earth upon the top of the mountains. The fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and there the city shall flourish like the grass of the earth. What city? New Jerusalem, coming down from heaven, the kingdom of heaven on the earth. That's the city that's gonna flourish above. That's the government. All right, that's gonna flourish pursuant to Isaiah 9 and Isaiah 2. Isaiah 9:5 on down, man. They say what? At the end of his government shall be no end. Of his government shall be no end. Shall establish upon the throne of David. His name shall be called the wise counselor, the Prince of Peace. And his government shall be no end. What's that? What's that government? The government that's spoken of Daniel 2:44. It said the kingdom shall not be left to other people, other nations. Because the kingdom's only for us. It's not for you, for other nations. And his name and they that of the city shall flourish like the grass of the earth, like grasshoppers. As scripture tell you. His name shall endure forever. His name shall be continued as long as the sun. But the white man's his name's gonna be blotted out the history books, pursuing Isaiah 14. And men shall be blessing him. All nations shall call him blessed, pursuing Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. They're gonna say this is a wise, understanding people. Surely this is a wise, understanding people. The blessed be the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahshai, the God of Israel, who only doeth wondrous things. And blessed be his glorious name forever. And let the whole earth be filled with his glory. Amen, amen. The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended. Yeah, the prayer, that's a song of Moses. The song of Moses, us being delivered from this violence, man. That's why it says in Revelation 15, they sung the song of the servant of God, of Moses, with harps, as they beheld the destruction of America. The sea mingled, the sea of glass, They said look down and they seen what? The destruction of America, the end of the war. That's why it says they led the Lord, he ascended up on high and led captivity captive. So the elder brother Ariel, Yasharala, Yabashim Shabbat to you and yours. So yeah, man, everyone has to pay. If you ask the Christians or any of these people, what's going on? Is this devil going to pay for everything he did? What happened for slavery? What's the payment for slavery, man? Everybody went into slavery. No, everybody didn't go into slavery like we did. The cup that we drink is not the same cup. That's not the same cup, man. You can't compare what an Arab went through. Oh, the Gaza, the people in Gaza, that's the greatest atrocity. In that thing I was watching from Al Jazeera, that white woman, she talking about that's the greatest. Humanity has to live with this, and she was, she was a cracker woman, she was like, humanity has to live with this. Well, you did worse. What about what you did to the Native Americans? You devils have did worse, man, than some fucking Gaza war that you've been fighting. You got them Palestinians displaced, them Elamites, Hamites that's living over there. You got certain Jakes living over there. But look, the ones that's over there mingle with the people. They're worshiping all kind of idols and gods of the nations. So really, fuck them. They ain't right. They ain't right. So they got to eat shit and die. And it is what it is. Scripture tell you, let the multitude perish born in vain. So if there's Jake caught up in the midst of that shit, that's because they ain't right. Has any perish being innocent? Okay, yeah, the Lord is gonna have mercy on you, have mercy, have compassion on you, have compassion. But for the most part, all them people catching hell, they you gotta remember they've despised the Holy One of Israel and have start scorn of his laws. and misused his people, his prophets especially. You know, so everybody's getting what the fuck they deserve, especially you so-called white people, man. You know, especially you demonic so-called white people. You're getting what you deserve. All right. The Lord will not acquit the wicked. So 2 Esdras 11 and 44, it says the highest have actually 40. Let me start at 40. The 40th verse. 2 Esdras 11 and 40. And the fourth it came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. So long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. That's how you know this talking about this time now. Okay, because the Roman Empire came back, and the Roman Empire didn't have control over the whole earth. That's America. That's America. So it says over the whole compass of the whole earth with much wicked oppression. They could drop a B-2 bomb stealther in less than 6 hours, man. You know, they could be in your airspace dropping 30,000-pound bombs on innocents, man. You see? So it says the 41st verse, for the earth has thou not judged with truth. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked, Job 9:24. But the earth has thou not judged with truth, so-called white man. So it says, for thou hast afflicted the meek, that's the Israelites. You know, and the other nations too, you know, that you know, you see these poor Saudis and all these other nations and shit. This devil did not pity them. Iranians, Syrians, you know, Africans. You know, the white man been all through all these lands, not just the Americans, the Dutch, the Spaniards, the British, you know what I'm saying? All these devils have the same agendas, and they all use the same tactics: violence, bloodshed, rape. You know, the German. You know, so it says, "Thou has afflicted the meek; thou has hurt the peaceable." They're all Edomites at the end of the day. You know, you got just like you got tribes of Israel, you got tribes of Esau, man. You got Amalek, you know, so on and so forth. So it says, and destroy the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and have cast down the walls of such that did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up to the highest, and the pride unto the mighty. The highest also have looked down upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. All right. So the most high, the highest, has looked down upon the proud times. That's the proud times we're living in. You got the month that just passed by was called Pride Month. Yeah. You got something called Pride Month. So that's something that's totally wicked, man. Adverse to the laws of the Lord. That wasn't a thing in the ancient. We didn't have Pride Months and fucking Black History Months and all that shit. You know, Juneteenth. What the fuck is a Juneteenth, man? You know. So it says, therefore appeared no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor thy vain body. You know, that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence. Thy violence, see, being delivered from thy violence. You know, being delivered that all the earth may be refreshed and may be returned, be delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. All right. So the earth, the creature is waiting for the judgment and the mercy of him that made her. And the creature, you know, entails also us, because we're made of the earth. We're made with the earth. We're made to rule the earth. The earth, the Lord created to be inhabited, so therefore he's gonna give it into the hands of his chosen, you know. Because when we rule, what the scriptures tell you, the nations shall beat their swords into plowshares and pruning hooks. You know, the nations shall swords They will not learn. The scripture tell you not learn violence anymore. I tell you Isaiah the 60th chapter. So Isaiah 2:4, and he shall judge amongst the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. You know, and they shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Yeah. So neither shall they learn war anymore, man. So how you lived on the earth, hey, that's how you're gonna get paid back. Isaiah, Revelation 28:18, so like it. And 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and the holy apostles and prophets, for the most high Abashim shall have avenged you upon her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and she shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and harp and pipers and trumpeters shall no more be heard at all in thee. No more Hollywood, the daughters of music being brought low. You know, no more Hollywood, no more America's top 40. You know, American Idol. All right. So it says, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all indeed. No more work. The grinder shall cease. 23rd verse. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all indeed. And the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride shall be heard no more at all indeed. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of saints and of all that was slain upon the earth. Yeah, because you devils are guilty of all the wars that's going on the earth. Because if you're such a great peacekeeper, then wouldn't be no wars on the earth, man. You know, there wouldn't be no more. There wouldn't be no wars, man. There wouldn't be no wars, man. There wouldn't be no wars. But see, they got something called the military industrial complex, which does nothing but profit off of the wars, selling guns. All the world's is full of American guns, man. Especially the Middle East, especially the hoods of America, where Jake lives, full of nothing but Smith and Wessons and all kind of shit. You know, that's supplied by these devils. They talking about guns don't kill people, people kill people. They don't have no fucking guns. They can't kill each other like that, man. You know, very fucking simple to understand. But a devil, you know, speaks with a forked tongue and twists reality. He talking about guns are not dangerous. Guns are not dangerous. You know, motherfucker talking about guns are not dangerous. That's a devil for you, man. You know, a gun is a demonic thing. A weapon used to kill, man. All right. So the nation shall beat their swords into plowshares and pruning hooks, man. Isaiah 2:4. All right. Nation shall not learn war anymore, man. They shall not learn war anymore. All right. I tell you Isaiah 2:4. It said Habakkuk 1:2. Oh Lord, how long shall I cry and thou wilt not hear me? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why doest thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me. Spoiling and violence are before me. And there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore, as the law slack and judgment did not go forth, for the wicked that can pass about the righteous. Therefore, wrong judgment proceeded. So the wicked compassing uh about the righteous, man. And therefore wrong judgment is proceeded, man. All right. Behold, ye amongst the heathen regard and wonder marvelous, for I work in your days, which you will not believe, though it be told unto you. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans that bitter and hasty nation which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwellings thereof that are not theirs. Right. Woe to you that enlarge the desire which that's not his. You know, you devils, fit the bill. You fit the description. That's how we know you're the Greeks and all them niggas. Cause That's how Alexander moved in 10 years, conquered the known world. Just like you devils do, going around and establishing your kingdoms, man. Your puppet leaders and all that shit. See, nowadays the cameras are on, so it's a different type of diplomacy you got to use. You can't just barrel in and just drop bombs on everybody. But they do it with Iran though. You see what I'm saying? Because they make it seem like Iran is a threat to everybody, so the world is on standstill and shit. But let them do that to, like, let's say for instance, like a Latin American country or some shit like that. They just start dropping bombs on you. Like somebody, like it'll be a world war immediately, you know. But it's okay because they've desensitized the people to, like, look at the Arabs and all them, like, you know, they're just terrorists and shit. So we got to keep them at bay. So it's a whole mind fuck of a psyop, you know. But let them do that to a EU nation, some shit like that. They invade France, some, you know, they're not gonna do that because they're allies. If for now they're allies. But but you know, the deeper things are, you know, go back to the financial, the central banks and all that. You know, this is why they're invading these different lands. They've been invading these different lands. They've been at war with Russia and Cold War and China and all these people for many moons because of the banking thing behind the scenes. You know, with the elites and how they want the new world order to run and everything. But anyways, the Most High set it up that way because the kings of the East, being the Russians and the Chinese and all these, you know, are going to set the stage for this fighting that's going to take place. The nations are being gathered in the valley of House Pot. So these things have been playing out, or the Lord had been orchestrating them behind the scenes, for hundreds of years, man. Hundreds of years that this been culminating in the war to end all wars, the valley of Yehoshaphat, the Lord's judgment, Armageddon. It said mound of troops. The word Harmagadwan meaning mound of troops. You know. So Isaiah 26 and 21, read this. Better put up here. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. You know, so the violence is going to be paid for, man. The blood is going to be required. That's why the scriptures tell you the righteous innocent blood cried unto me. The dregs of the cup, when the scriptures describe the dregs of the cup, you're going to eat the dregs of the cup. That's double for your trouble. That's double recompense unto her, double as she have done unto thee. Let's get that too. Seeing as a righteous thing with the Most High recompense them that trouble thee, that trouble you, man. And we've been troubled. Reward her, Revelation 18 and 6. As she rewarded you, double unto her according to her works in the cup which she hath filled to her double, double. You know what I mean? So she's gonna get double. So they are Habakkuk 1 and 7, they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. All right. Their horses also are swifter than the eagle, than the leopards, like it, and more fierce than the evening wolves. Their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come up from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hastes to eat. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup as the wind of the east, and they shall gather captivity as the sand. They shall scoff at kings, and the prince shall be as scorn at them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Then shall his mind change, he shall pass over and offend, imputing that this his power unto his God. Thou art not from everlasting, O Lord my God, my Holy One. We shall not die, O Lord. Thou hast ordained them for judgment, O mighty power. Thou hast established them for correction. Thou art purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devour the man that's more righteous than he? Right, we're more righteous than this devil. These devils are really not anyone that should be judging us. But being as you messed up, the Lord show you judgment through a white man that you're more righteous than. All right, that's how the Lord will do you. You play with me, I will judge you with a devil. I'll judge you with the devil. All right, because this devil's a hypocrite. To tell you the accuser of our brethren that accuse them day and night before the Lord of your power. You know, he's sitting there accusing us and judging us, but he's the devil. He's the devil. So what the fuck is he talking about, man? How could he say anything about us? So it go again, it says the 13th verse. And wherefore thou lookest upon them that deal treacherously, the treacherous deal treacherously. That's this white man. And holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that's more righteous than he. The wicked is devouring a man that's more righteous than him. Proverbs 12, 26, 27. What is it? 27. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked has seduced him. All right. So we're more righteous than this white man. You know, even though we're wicked as a nation, but we're still better than the white man. You know, because we're Israelites. Because we're Israelites. Because to us is made the promises. All right. So 14th verse, and make his man as the fish of the sea, and as creeping things that have no rule over them. They take up all of them with the angle. They catch them in their net and they gather them in a drag. Therefore, they rejoice and are glad. Okay, so the point was in the 13th verse, right? So, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that's more righteous than he. So we're the ones being devoured. We're the ones. We're the victims. Nigga talking about victimhood. You the perpetual victims. That's what these white people talk about. Oh, you're always pulling the victim card. You fucking right, man. All right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because hey, we're the victims, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You just want Jake to shut up and just forget about everything that has happened. You have see that's the whole point of drugs, the endless amounts of entertainment, copious amounts of entertainment. All right, all this filler, so you can forget about the past. You know, they got you in virtual fucking reality half the time. You know, so you can forget. You try to forget. Oh, look, America. You could go to the casino. You could go to all you can eat buffets, and you could go to brothels. You know, just forget about everything that happened. Look at America. America's not a bad place. You've been given rights. We let you go to college. You know, but no. That doesn't pay for the fact of what you devils have did. Pursuing Job 20, his bones are filled with the sin of his youth. All right, his children seek to please the poor in the 10th verse, and his hands will restore their goods. You know, so here it is. These devils, man, they've given you this dainties and shit. That's why the script tell you the gift destroy the heart. Ecclesiastes 7:7, oppression make a wise man mad. Wise man mad is mad at oppression. A wise man is mad at oppression. But a gift destroy your heart. You take this devil gift, pursuing as Proverbs 23. That's why I script tell you put a knife to that throat when I'll be sit with the ruler for his meat is deceitful meat. So they are led of their are destroyed of them, you know. But as I tell you in Proverbs 4:18 on down, the path of the just shineth more onto the light, onto the perfect day. That's why it says, seal the instruction and bind the testimony amongst my disciples. Because this world, man, the flesh and everything in it will drive your ass mad, crazy in love, like Beyonce said, to the point where your ass turned into a Beyonce, into a Jay-Z type nigga. You turn into a freak, a bleaching yourself spiritually, mentally. You a white man. You didn't turn into a white man, a violent devil. You killing your people, selling them candy to kids, being a demon. You know, that's what happens. So we're blessed to have this truth. That's why I tell you Jeremiah 9 and 25 on that, man. Let him that rejoice that he knoweth me. You know. But the point being that this devil's gonna pay for all this violence that he's done on the earth. This devil's not gonna get away with all his damn atrocities, his bastardly ways, man. All the dirt this devil did, everything he did, man, he gonna pay for. And this fucking Christianity and all this other bullshit these niggas talking about, all right? it don't answer, it don't give no solutions, man. You know, just like the lesson I did yesterday. Um, what was the title? Shit, I forgot. But it was about matter of fact, I gotta go back. What was it? Yeah, it was yeah, the Republicans and the Democrats. Yeah. Yeah, going back to what I said yesterday, they're missing the point. They're missing the point. You know, all these progressives and liberals, and that's the treacherous dealing treacherously, man. Right, left paradigms and shit. As above, so below. It's all the same common denominator. At the end of the day, the white man's the problem. He's still gonna be ruling. No matter what happens, you're talking about all this other shit. Unless you're talking about the gospel, all right, that's the only solution. The Lord coming down on this earth and enacted judgment on this motherfucking devil, man, on the earth, on the inhabitants thereof. On the Most High, Sagadris, two Sagadris, 11 and 44. I read the Most High looked down on pride times. All right. So his eyes are upon a sinful kingdom. I tell you, Amos, the 9th chapter. And he would destroy it from off the face of the earth. Saving I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, but leave a remnant behind. That's why I tell you in Malachi, the 4th chapter, that the day of the Lord burn as an oven. I tell you in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, as well, the elements shall melt with fervent heat for the great violence of the devil, for the atrocities these people have committed underneath the devil, as he's giving them license to sin. The Most High didn't give you a license. The so-called white man, all right, gave you the license to go off and be a demon and be a slut and a whore and be a mo. You know, he gave you the rights to destroy yourself. But the Lord said, Luke 13:3, that he commanded every man everywhere to repent, for he comes as a thief in the night, man. You know. So, anyways, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it here. All right, you devils covered yourselves with the blood of the children of Israel, the blood of these nations. So all that blood is going to be required, all right, by the Lord of hosts, man, the God of Israel, man. The blood is going to be required, man. The blood is going to be required. There must be payment. There must be blood. There, hey, just like that movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, there will be blood. You know, hey, the land cannot be cleansed. We'll tell you Numbers 35 and the 33rd verse, man. So you shall not pollute the land wherein you are. You devils have polluted the land. America, the land of Israel, that's the Holy Land. All right. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Defile not the land, therefore, which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for the Lord, Yahweh Shai, dwell amongst the children of Israel. All right. So, Proverbs 28:17, a man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall fly to the pit which he digged, as pursuant to Psalms 7:15. And no man shall stay him. No man's going to help him. No man can redeem you, save you. All right. Okay. So, but whoso let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. All right. So, a man that do a violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit, and let no man stay him. So you devils gonna fall by your own ways, for the Lord required that which is past, Ecclesiastes 3:15. All right, and all that violence is gonna be acquired, and you will not be acquitted. All right, the Lord will not acquit the wicked, man. The Lord's not in the business of forgetting what happened. He requires that which is past. All right, not like the Christian God, you know, so-called Christian God, Jesus Christ. All right, or these other vain philosophies of this world, traditions of men. No, the Lord is a God that what judges in the earth. All right, Nahum 1:1, the burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision, and Nahum the Escalite. The Most High, Yahweh Shemashai, is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revenges and is furious. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserved a wrath for his enemies. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. For the Lord have his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, in the clouds of the dust of his feet. For he rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and dry up all the rivers, in Bashan languisheth, and Carmel and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. And the mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world, all that dwell therein. For who can stand before his indignation? Who can abide in the fierceness of his anger and fury? For his fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. For the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. But with the overrunning flood, he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. What do you imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. So you devils are not going to rise up after you go down, and you're going to be ashes under the soles of our feet, man. All right. For that great violence against thy brother Jacob, scripture tells you, shame shall cover thee, man. All right. So with that, I say, call Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. All right, that was our apostle, true peace. It's a taste to you elect household of faith. All right. Why I'm a waffle apple ball to you, them devils. Out of one. All right. Shalom.